Alright, you guys, welcome back to some more Hapymaher. We are in a dream world, or is this reality where the dream is creeping in? I'm not too sure, but apparently Keiko is a princess. Her dad came and picked her up and was like, hey, yeah, you're gonna get married, so you gotta come with me. And we are trying to look into rescuing her. We're not sure if we're gonna actually attempt to rescue her right now, but we're looking into it. We're kind of scouting it out, per se. Maybe we'll try to rescue her, probably likely. We'll see. The Emerald City Tower building, more commonly known as Tsukio Building, was located down the main street from Tsukio City Station. The lower levels were a shopping center and open to the general public. Above that were commercial offices that were off limits to anyone but authorized personnel. Several companies occupied that space. So near the top, there's a hall where you can hold wedding ceremonies and a venue where they hold exhibitions, and there's an observation deck with restaurants for members. We knew it as the most expensive spot in the city. On our way here from the hospital, I've been crudely explaining what I knew about the Tsukio building to Alice. It's a pretty busy building, Alice said as we looked up at it. A fair bit taller than any of the other buildings in the city skyline, the Tsukio building almost looked like it was a tower. But I guess you've never been up there. Since I was barely familiar with the building as it was, I checked the map in front of the elevator. Well, now what do we do? Yeah, sure. Nothing wrong with this plan. Let's do it. So haphazard. If Saki was here, she'd probably get mad and say, that's not checking things out. On our way here, we tried to manipulate the dream, and it looked like we couldn't do anything more than what we could do in reality. So this was about the only thing we could think of that we could do. That sounds like it'll cause a bigger commotion, so I'm going in now. I love Toru. Let's just go in. Let's just do it. This is a terrible idea, but what's the worst that could happen, right? Guess so. We laughed at each other. Well then, let's go find the princess. We memorized everything we could, such as locations of the stairs and elevators. Then we decided to casually go look for Hirasaka. That's the problem. You're casually looking for somebody who probably going to be guarded. We thought maybe we could go to the top by elevator, but things weren't that easy. The direct elevators were off limits to the general public, but that didn't mean we had no way to go up. We went through the business floors via the stairs as we aimed for the floor Hirasaka was supposedly on. Alice looked ahead and beckoned for me to follow. We had made it to the end of the business floors and we reached the beginning of the upper levels. There's probably security cameras or something, or are they just not looking at them? Maybe they checked the recordings afterwards or something. If we could just get Hirasaka out, we could probably manage just about anything else. With these thoughts in my mind, I walked with Alice, pretending to be lost. No, of course not. Yeah, it's not gonna cause any problems. I wonder. I get the feeling that this is the kind of dream where once the big climax is over, that'll be it. I had no proof, but that was the feeling I got. In fact, the party itself felt like it was the point of the dream. Would the dream continue after the party ended? Dreams don't continue. Right. Normally, they don't continue. I don't know. I've definitely had dreams growing up where, I woke up, and then I went back to sleep, and I continued the dream. That's definitely happened before. So I wouldn't be too sure that they don't continue, per se. We stopped and Alice checked around another corner. Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Christmas is kind of the focal point and whatever going on with Keiko. That just kind of threw me for a loop, having her, suddenly getting married. I was like, what's the point of that? The next dream, huh? I can only hope something crazy doesn't happen in that dream, too. But we couldn't just think of what was coming next. We had to do something with the Christmas party in this dream. This way. We walked down another hall. We hadn't seen a single person since we came up here. Well, it's not a great sign. We acted as natural as we could as we walked around, so careful not to be found. It was like we were in a movie. I couldn't tell if security was really lax or if we were subconsciously altering the dream because we wanted it to be that way. But so far, we had been able to go up and without any problems. I got a pretty good idea from that map back there. We'd avoided the front of the elevator where the directory board was out of fear of being spotted, but I discovered an evacuation route map next to the stairs. Now we decided to find the rooms that had a window you could see to the station from. There was an area with guest rooms, but there were hardly any that would have any windows facing the station. So all we had to do was search for rooms that had such windows according to the map. Alice and I peered around a corner checking the area, then we quickly walked through and no one was looking. Wasn't there a video game like this? I thought as we arrived at the room frighteningly easily. I mean, there's a lot of stealth games. You'd have to narrow that down for me. Alice whispered, giving me a look. If someone else was inside, we wouldn't be able to get Hirasaka out so easily. Since this area was off limits, the general public we couldn't hang around for long in the first place. Knocked on the door anyways. I was relieved to hear Hirasaka's voice. If someone else was in there, she probably wouldn't have answered herself. Room service. The door opened immediately. I don't know, do you have a really big order? Because I don't actually have any food. I'm not room service. Alice and I entered the room. Surprised that it wasn't just me, Hirasaka closed the door immediately after we went in. Hearing Alice state this so matter-of-factly caused Hirasaka to be slightly taken aback. They did hit me in the head before. I'd probably just worry her more if I told her I'd been to the hospital, so I kept quiet about it. Alice said, taking Hirasaka's hand. I don't know. I'm wondering if this is stemming from something that happened in her past? I'm not too sure, though. If you don't want to go, then we won't force you. If possible, I'd like to get her out, but I'd be worried if we leave her. But circumstances are different from before. It might affect reality. If you insist on staying behind even after what you said to Club President, I won't force you to go with us. It came down to what Hirasaka wanted to do. I don't know, is there any connection to reality with that? Unless you were a princess all along, but you were hiding it from everyone or something like that. Hirasaka sounded a little annoyed. I don't know, maybe in a way she is a princess. Not like literally, but like figuratively. Maybe that's how her father views her. Yeah, but in Hirasaka's case, there had been a time when Dream Hirasaka and real Hirasaka almost switched places. Remembering that time, Hirasaka clenched her fists and nodded. That's fine, do as your dad says. If you say that this weird engagement is just a dream, then... I don't know, like I said, I don't want to give in to dreams. I don't want to just go along with them too much, because it seems like from what Alice said that could cause problems. I played dumb, and I knew that if I talked like this, it would make Hirasaka mad. What do you mean? Alice's confident expression gave me a bad feeling. Alice, why are you being so straightforward? You're really willing to go that far. Eh? I am. Completely ignoring us, Alice put her hands on her hips. Alice said matter-of-factly, puffing on her chest. That was probably Alice's idea of justice, a glimpse of her conviction. I couldn't help but admire it. Ah, interesting. Interesting. Why would you appear all of a sudden, huh? What a coinky-dink. Maya appears after we thought we got rid of Maya. Okay. Turned out the sudden voice, of course, there was no one there. I mean, who really thought Maya was gone? I mean, I just don't see that happening. I think she'll be there till the bitter end. Hirasaka tilted her head. It looked like no one else had heard the voice just now. The voice I'd heard, without a doubt, was Maya. As I tried to tell the other two this, the door of the room opened. My body tensed up for a moment. It wasn't Maya who came in. Quick, run away. It was Hirasaka's father. Some of the men in black suits we'd seen on the way here followed him in. They might have been friends of the people who hit me. Even if they weren't, they sure weren't allies. He didn't sigh or show any sign of emotion as he looked at us. His expression was frigid. Despite the situation, Alice faced him head on. So y'all said you wanted me to give some opinions on their relationship and kind of I don't know, just the whole parent-daughter relationship, because I have a daughter, right? What do I think about forcing something on your child? Now, forcing something on your child is interesting because there's actually scenarios where I'd say it's a good thing. Of course, I don't agree with this, especially when it comes to something like marriage or something. I would never force my child to pick one way or the other. I would tell them to pick the person they truly love and that respects them, right? But there is scenarios as your child is growing up that I think would be okay to force them, especially when they're really young, because you need to instill in them certain things, right? Like, you need to force them to learn their ABCs, you need to force them to learn how to count, you know, and learn things, right? I think that's an okay case. You sometimes need to force them to do something they don't want to do, because there's benefits to it, right? Like, maybe you're trying to give your child a shot, you know, they need to go to the doctor, they need to get certain vaccines and things like that. I think that's fine, right? Especially when they're really young. And I think as they get older, you still want to give them a push to do things, but at the same time, you don't want to make their decisions for them, right? And I have a young daughter. She's just about 2. So, I mean, I'm kind of looking at it from that perspective. And obviously, Keiko is a much older girl and should be making more of her own decisions. So, I don't really ever agree with forcing something that big. I think sometimes you need to give them a push. Sometimes you need to make them do things they don't want to do because it'll benefit them. But in most cases, especially at her age, I would not tell you to ever force them to do anything. They have to do the essentials, right? But that's about it. This is not an essential thing. I think it's okay to sometimes listen to other people's opinions when it comes to your family, but I think ultimately the decision should be with the parent. I've definitely had family that's kind of told me how to parent, right? Like, they're not like looking at me parenting and saying, "Oh, you're doing such a terrible job. You should be doing this instead," right? They're not coming at it like that, but just giving general advice. I think if a lot of people are complaining to you, you're probably doing something wrong or doing something that appears wrong to others. Maybe reassess that. Or else, yeah, I mean, some people definitely offer opinions that are, like, unwarranted. Nobody asked. It happens. Alice didn't falter in the least, but Hirasaka's dad didn't seem to care.
友人ならば何をしてもいいと。そういうのか。
どうしてそうなるの？
ここは関係者以外立ち入り禁止だ。少なくとも君たちの立ち入りを許可した覚えはない。
I apologize for entering without permission. In regards to that, we're wrong and you're right. I was cried out in surprise, but for the moment I ignored her. But we want to ask you about a different matter. Is this engagement something Hirasaka, Keiko-san, wanted? Before, he had been looking at us, but not really paying attention to us. He couldn't really be bothered to be conscious of us. At least that was the impression I'd gotten from him. Now it felt like he was looking at me for the first time. As her friends, we were worried about her, so we came to ascertain that she was okay. It's true that the means we used aren't something to be praised, but... I would say that response probably isn't something I'd want to say as a parent. At least when it comes to something that isn't absolutely important, right? Like, we're talking about a marriage here, and I solely believe that you should get married for happiness, not for, like, political standing, not for, to please your family or anything. It should be about between you and the other person. That's the only two people that should have any say in a marriage, and those should be the people that consent and decide if it's a good thing for them or not. So I don't agree with a parent forcing a marriage on somebody and saying that it's for their own good. He replied shortly. There's definitely things as a parent that you'll probably have that opinion, that you're doing something, you're forcing them to make a decision or giving them a push in a direction with the hope that it's the right one. You have to be very careful about that, though. Hirasaka just glared at her father in silence. With that, Hirasaka's father started to have his subordinates remove us from the room. But I felt there was something off about that answer. It is very interesting the way they're doing this scene right now. So, let's just look at this real quick. I love the way they cut this, giving it that kind of like cinematic feel. But it's also cutting off his face, which I really like. If you really want to like grab meaning from that, it's almost like he's just kind of doing something, and it's maybe a little bit heartless, a little bit inhuman, and I think this just kind of goes to show that. I don't think that's intentional at all. That's just what I'm getting from it. Wasn't this engagement for your own sake? He'd already started to look away, but his gaze returned to us. I thought this was something like a political marriage. I thought you were using your daughter to solidify your position. For the first time, Hirasaka's father gave a small, annoyed sigh. I mean, I would love to know his reasoning and why he thinks that. Clearly, he has some idea in mind, and I'm open to hearing it. Completely ignoring Alice, he focused on me. Anxious, Hirasaka started to reach out for me, then stopped. Hirasaka clenched her fists. Her hands and her voice were shaking. She was trying to get us to leave while we could still go peacefully. But seeing that attitude was precisely what set Alice off. I'm just curious if pushing our agenda right now, I mean, clearly he has an agenda, right? But we also have an agenda. I wonder if pushing that right now is the best decision, or if we should say we scouted, we kind of saw what's going on, and if we should back off for now, because we're clearly not going to win if he uses force. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So I know this is a dream. I don't know if he's necessarily this kind of person outside of this kind of dream environment. I don't know if he's being influenced right now, other than just being put in this scenario. But I would imagine he's kind of the person that says, it's, you know, this is my daughter and it's none of your business. I'm going to do what I want. I could definitely see him being that kind of person. Alice bristled up like an angry cat. Maybe it's because Alice was getting mad before my eyes, but despite the situation, I still had the composure to be able to think things over. The father who thought he was right, and Hirasaka who couldn't endure it, but also couldn't do anything about it. Alice looked like she would go out of control soon. There were two bodyguard-looking men behind Hirasaka's
この
dad.
娘を連れ出せ。
With that, the men in black suits swiftly apprehended Alice. She can either put up a fight or run away.
ちょっと話しなさいよ。お父様、手荒なことはしないでください。
それは相手次第だ。連れて行け。
I mean, he's definitely in the wrong for what he's doing, but at the same time, I mean, he's right. We're kind of trespassing here.
ちょっと、ケイコ、話しなさいよ。ケイコ。
The two dragged Alice out at the same time as desperately trying to think of what I should do. I figured that even if I attacked him, I probably wouldn't be able to do anything, so what else was there? Oh yeah, if you attack him, do you see how bulky this man is? He'd beat the hell out of you. Wonder if this was really right. I'm allowed to stay?
お前の方がまだ話が通じそうだ。納得してからお帰り願おう。
Okay, I'm actually surprised he's even taking the time to explain things to us instead of just forcing things on us as well. Seemed to be implying that he didn't want this sort of thing to happen again. Convinced, huh? I guess it would be a pain if we were snuck in
そ
again.
の通りだ。他に何か言いたいことはあるか？
I'm relieved that you're more of a father than what I had heard from Hirasaka.
先輩。
This man was probably very awkward. He was so laughably awkward that the only way he knew how to show his love for his daughter was through force. Yeah, okay. If we want to look at it from that angle, yeah, he's forcing things on his daughter that he thinks are right. Now that's, like I said, that's okay when they're younger, right? You're forcing them to do certain things that will be very beneficial for them later. And, you know, as children are growing, they don't really know better, per se, right? Like, when you think about when you were a child, you're like, oh, I just want to eat some candy. I want to go play and mess around. I want to hang out with my friends and have a good time. But there were certain things that your parents made you do that helped you grow as a person. Like, right, I said kind of like reading and learning ABCs, math, you know, things like that. You have certain things that you do that help build you up. Maybe your parents forced you to make your own food. They're like, okay, you're hungry, go in the pantry, cook yourself something, you know? You want a bowl of cereal, go pour the milk in yourself, you know? Grab a bowl, put the cereal in, put the milk, grab a spoon. It's not that hard. You're at the age where you can do that. You know, your parents started forcing you to do certain things yourself because that helped you gain independence. Because ultimately, I think as a parent, you want your child to gain some independence. You want them to be able to stand on their own. And hopefully you can learn to do it in a way where they don't hate you and despise you for the way they were raised. People just have different methods of achieving that. You kind of have to go from a direction of love, and sometimes that's tough love, right? I don't think just forcing ideals on your kids, especially as, you know, Keiko's a little bit older, is going to help her. Like I said, I just don't think a forced marriage would ever be a good idea. I just don't see any situation where I think that's okay. I didn't get the feeling he was lying when he said this was all for Hirasaka's sake, and I wanted to believe him. We're children, so there are a lot of things we don't understand from an adult's perspective. Like you say, after 10 years, maybe we'll be able to understand it. But even so, this is still too much. I think maybe you should talk more as a father and daughter. Hirasaka is an idiot who won't understand if you talk to her, right? Now what? They had taken Alice away so there were no hindrances, but it wasn't like they'd be gone
その
forever.
必要はない。
I could see Hirasaka tremble at the sound of those words. I couldn't tell if it was out of fear or anger. It was strange, but coming here hadn't been a waste after all. I didn't want to stick my nose in a parent-child relationship, but I didn't think I'd be able to leave without doing anything when this was happening right in front of me. I had no choice but to resort to a surprise attack, meaning I was doing the same thing as Alice. Is this a good idea? I don't know if just running out is the solution here. I think it would be better. I'm not saying that getting her out of the situation is a bad idea. I'm just saying the way in which he's doing it. I reached out and grabbed Hirasaka's arms. We could run past the man in front of us and out of the room after that we'd managed somehow. We could run away somewhere until this crazy dream ended. Just as I took my first step, the black muzzle of a gun was pointed at me. Before I could blink, bang, there was a dry, hollow sound like that of a balloon popping. You just freaking shoot at me! Those words were curt. I stopped in my tracks. When I turned around, I saw the muzzle was pointed straight at me.
やめてください。
ならその手を離してゆっくりこっちに来い。
At least Hirasaka's hand and slowly raised my own. A gun? Why? I had finally calmed down enough to realize the situation I was in. It was insane. It was like a dream. Wow. Crazy. It was like a dream. That's weird. No, it was a dream. Between her father and me, Hirasaka seemed to be hesitating.
稽古、その男から離れろ。まったく何をするかと思えば。
The side of my shoulder burned. The bullet must have grazed it. I couldn't tell whether or not he missed on purpose. Hirasaka, don't do anything weird. Don't worry, I'll get you out of... The gun was pointing at me again. I couldn't stay here any longer. I pushed Hirasaka's back, and hiding behind her, I flew out the door. While effective, I don't know if that was a manly thing to do. Hiding behind a girl? I don't know about that one, Toru. It tended to be a dream, or was it crazy because it was a dream? I smiled to myself, amused I was composed enough to have such thoughts. I don't know. I'm worried about Toru right now. I think he's making... He was acting pretty calm, but at the same time, I think he's making very irrational decisions. And, I think his judgment's clouded a little bit because he thinks it's a dream. I understand that's a weird spot to be in, where it's kind of like a dream, but it's kind of not. I'm worried about the consequences if he does get shot or something. I think they're very real right now. Yeah, and I'm kind of worried because he's saying it's just a dream. I don't want him to delude himself into something. As soon as I ran out, I grabbed my aching left shoulder so the bullet had grazed it. I turned and ran down the hall. I didn't know what had happened to Alice. I wonder if she had noticed such a crazy, messed up dream. Hopefully she wouldn't get violent and fail to notice. Conversely, if we thought of this as a weird dream, then I was sure there were still things we could do. Well then, how to get away. If they were going to throw me outside after they caught me, I wouldn't mind, but I didn't want to be sent off or locked up somewhere. So I was running away for the time being. The problem is how serious Hirasaka's father is about doing whatever he wants. People were free in dreams. They could go do whatever they want without holding back. I figured he pulled out that gun because he was freed by the dream. It's not like people who aren't used to it can just accept that. People only dream about what's in their heads. They don't see things they don't know about, nor do they see things they have no mental image of. In short, that meant Hirasaka's father had a mental image of such means, so it made sense that Hirasaka would feel suffocated living with him. Well, I guess it also depends on how close they were in the first place. I don't think they're incredibly close, no. I think Hirasaka's father is just the kind of man who does whatever he wants and just kind of lives his own life, and his daughter is just a part of that, right? He doesn't really necessarily see his daughter as maybe her own person as much. It didn't faze me much when Saki pulled out guns, just as I was thinking that. Ah, not good. I heard footsteps coming from ahead as well as behind. I didn't want to try doing something a pro would do, like speeding up and slipping past them. I knew perfectly well how amazing the real security guards were, like from the Hasano household. Yeah. A door suddenly opened and my name was called. I thought it might be a trap, but there's no need to set one. Someone took a hold of my hand and I was pulled in the open room. I was finally able to recognize who had called out to me. Asahi, what the heck are you doing here? Okay, without a word of explanation, I was forcibly pushed in the closet. I nodded and the doors closed. Interesting. Okay, Asahi is here. Sure. What was happening? I didn't understand the circumstances at all, but I've been saved. Right? Maybe she put me in here so they could capture me? Not likely. Maybe she was helping. I stayed as quiet as I could and listened for any sounds outside. Asahi must have been here in the first place because she seemed to be in a position where she wouldn't be suspicious as she talked to someone who had been chasing me. They talked for a little while longer after that, and the man was polite and didn't get rough at all. After I held my breath for a while, I heard the door close. Slowly I emerged from the closet, still cautious of my surroundings. Been a little worried that she was lying about them being gone and that they had me surrounded. I was relieved that wasn't the case. So, Asahi, what are you doing here?
徹くんも変なことしてるみたいだし。
Yeah, but we're always doing strange things. That's just who we are. Aussie gave me one of her usual resigned smiles. What do you mean, too? I meant Aussie or someone she knew was doing something strange as well. Without answering, Aussie looked at me as she always
と
did.
りあえず見つからないで外に出たいなら私と一緒に来てくれるかな。
If you don't turn me over to them, I'll go.
大丈夫だよ。
Didn't have a clue what was going on, but I decided to go with Aussie for the moment. It's very interesting having all this happening and also Christmas is going on at the same time. Very different, very confusing at the same time. My escape guided by Aussie went surprisingly well. We didn't use the elevator, we just made it to the stairs more smoothly than when we'd come in. And after that, we just casually exited the Tsukio building. Okay, so Alice is captured, though. Maya appeared briefly. I mean, there's a lot of not good signs here. That was easy.
もともと用意してたからね。
Aussie said as though she'd finished her homework and stared intently at her. So what were you doing there? I didn't want to know. Or so my mind was telling, but I ended up asking
気
anyways.
になる？
The expression Aussie gave didn't look any different from normal. For some reason, I had a bad feeling. Ah, no. Well, then I'll be... When I turned around and tried to walk away, she caught my wrist firmly.
じゃあ説明するからついてきてくれるかな。
Brush her off and run away. If this were an ordinary dream, maybe that's what I would have done, but I was curious about what she'd been doing there and why she helped me. Alright. I was uneasy, but I decided to follow Asahi. Gosh, this stream is so weird. I'm like, what is going on? So what's going on here? She brought me to a classroom. It was winter break, so only people doing club activities should have been at school, but the classroom was full of guys who didn't seem to be doing that.
ね、私たちは今年のクリスマスは中止になりました実行委員会。通称クリスマス会なんだよ。
So you and Tetsuya are in the same group. Sounds different from the name I heard before. I wonder if this is actually a subtly different organization, but I feel like I'd seen some with Tetsuya earlier. Is it different? Christmas is canceled this year, club. I mean, it's similar. Maybe not exactly the same.
細かいことは気にしない。
Alright, I'm completely uninterested in the name anyways. Some of them booed at me. By the way, Asahi was the only girl in the classroom, the rest were all guys. Only one girl in the whole class, it was like something out of an anime or a manga. It's practically a harem for Asahi. Then again, I was pretty sure she was satisfied with just Tetsuya. Among the boys in the classroom were a number of classmates I recognized. Oh yeah, Asahi, I have something I'd like to apologize for. I had put it in the off and missed the commotion, but I realized that I should say it here. Tetsuya got captured by some weird guys because of us. I'm sorry. Tetsuya had messed with us at first, or rather the people here had, but it had still been Hirasaka's father who did it. So I figured he got caught up in this dispute because of us.
あの人たちに捕まったことでしょ。あれは別にトールくんたちのせいじゃないよ。もともと哲也くんたちもこの回のせいで警戒されてたらしいし。
But
大丈夫、気にしないでいいって哲也くんが言ってたから、私はそれを信じるよ。
Asahi smiled. I see, so Tetsuya, wait, eh? Asahi, you've talked to him?
今お家で寝てるよ。
I see, so he's okay, I'm glad to hear it. It looked like he'd escaped in the confusion, I was relieved about that, but... Eh? Huh? Wasn't there something a little stranger? This whole thing has been strange.
どうしたの？
Wasn't the Christmas club a group of jealous guys who didn't have girlfriends?
そうだね。
The men started muttering in response, but Asahi nodded without batting an eye. Why are you here, Asahi? You have a boyfriend. Although I didn't know why Tetsuya had been participating either.
バカだよね、哲也くん。ほんと、いろんな意味で。なんで私にも黙ってたのかな。
Asahi gave me one of her usual smiles. It looked identical to the smile she always gave you when she was giving Tetsuya a kick to the back of the knees. But was it my imagination that the men behind her seemed afraid? I assumed it was my imagination. So what's going on? Is it okay for me to ask that? I won't get scared and want to run away, will I?
大丈夫だよ。ただ、哲也くんが怪我して動けなくなったから、私がお手伝いしてるだけだもん。
You seem to be receiving a royal welcome for just a helper. Looked like it would be a good idea to refrain from asking whether this was because she was the only girl or because of other circumstances. I'm wondering what exactly happened to all the girls. Is there just no girls in this stream? Are they really rare?
私があそこにいたのもその手伝いだったんだけど、トール君こそどうしたの？
Okay, that's a lame reason. I thought you were going to explain more. The reason I said before because of our circumstances. I was also worried about Alice, who I still hadn't seen since she was taken away. I wanted to believe that she'd just been thrown outside, but not as roughly like I had been treated. Since I didn't catch wind of any ruckus on my way out, I wanted to think that Alice was okay. I'd imagine if she eluded her captors, there would undoubtedly be some kind of commotion.
トール君たちの事情って話せないの？
I don't know. I'm not too trusting that Alice is okay, especially because we just heard Maya. I think there's something going on. I was just trying to kidnap the princess of that party, but here the men click their tongues. What? Is he trying to be a hero? Is he an acquaintance of leader Asahi? No, he looks like he's more like one of us. Leader Asahi?
あ、うん。哲也君がリーダーだったらしくて、代わりにお手伝いしてる私がいつの間にかそう呼ばれてて。こういうの私慣れてないし、困ってるよ。
Was the leadership really the sort of position you could just replace in a whim like that? Thought it was best if I didn't know the
そ
details.
れより、なんでトール君がそんなことしようとして追いかけられてたの？
I was being chased because I failed. The princess is a friend of mine and she's not happy about suddenly being involved in such a thing. An engagement she didn't want at all. Even if this wasn't a dream, we would have been worried about her, but I don't know what means we would have used, and we would have had to try to do something about it.
そっか。それで、トール君はこれからどうするの？
I still intend to save Hirasaka somehow. Oh, that's my friend's name, by the way. Even if I went through the front, it'd definitely be guarded, and I was sure I wouldn't be able to pull something similar to what we did today. But if it went without saying that I couldn't just leave her until the party ended. I noticed Asahi was looking at me with shining eyes. I had a bad feeling about this. Although it sucked to get a bad feeling because the girl had high hopes of me.
じゃあ代わって。
She grabbed a hold of my hand. I could feel that she was not about to let me escape. In fact, maybe that was why she had brought me here in the first place. Switch what? I asked hesitantly.
この会のリーダー。私は哲也君の看病に行きたいから。
More tongues clicks. But when Asahi looked back, they stopped so abruptly, it was comical. The guys close to her had gone pale, and they looked like they had broken out in a cold sweat. Seems they really like you, so why don't you stay? I just hoped it wasn't a regime of terror.
やっぱり私にはリーダーなんて向いてないよ。それに、みんなとトール君と目的は一緒でしょ？
Well, it's the same in that we both want to ruin the party, but I wasn't going to do it out of jealousy, so I didn't want to get lumped in with them. Besides, I'm going to rescue a girl after all. That really doesn't mesh with this club, right?
そこな。道端でイチャついてるカップルはムカつくが、ここでお前やお姫様を見捨てるほど腐ってない。
One of the sitting club members stood up. It was one of me and Tetsuya's classmates. Tanaka, in class, you're the first one to click his tongue when I'm talking to Saki, your club
それは
prez.
それ、これはこれ。あと道行くカップルに嫌がらせするより、お前と言った方が大義名分がだな。
Shouldn't be harassing people anyways. There was no response, and the others didn't say anything about not
そ
liking
れに
me.
我々はカップルが憎いがそうじゃなくて、もともとクリスマスの意味を履き違えてたな。
And, I don't care about your reasons. Will you really help me kidnap the princess?
もう新リーダーとして好きにしていいよ。
Is it okay for me to suddenly become the
大
leader?
丈夫だよ。
Honestly, stared at the faces of the club members near her. They probably weren't used to girls, so they'd most likely get embarrassed and look away. Or so I thought, but instead they went pale and nodded vigorously. What happened? Couldn't hold back from asking any longer.
悪い夢だ、きっと。だから気にするな。
Certainly was a bad dream, but it looked like it would be better not to worry about it. How many of them are there? If the guys here were all of them, then they would get the tables turned on them if they tried to charge them through the
集
front.
めれば1000人単位って聞いたけど？
1,000. Spat out of breath. Exactly 1,000? Not about 1,000?
汚いよ。だけどみんな日本中で困ったことしてるから、そう簡単に集まらないって言ってたよ。
I see. I'm glad. Well, as long as we can get a few more people than there are here.
さすがトール君。何か考えがあるんだ。
I'll have to flesh out the details, but well, we have an insider, so I'm sure we'll think of something. To be honest, since this was a dream, I wasn't considering the safety of everyone here. Hirasaka was in deep in the dream, so she was the most likely to be adversely affected. At the level these guys were involved, they probably wouldn't be bothered much in reality. So I felt like making a commotion worthy of a
そ
festival.
の内通者ってさっき言ってたお姫様の子？
No, I've got different connections. I had a disturbed little sister who, along with knowing the details of the security, was saying she wanted to crash the party pretty much out of spite. If you're really gonna help me, then I'd like to devise a plan. Everyone started talking at the same time. I took out my phone to contact Saki.
なあナイト、お前本気でお姫様をさらう気か？なんでだ？恋人か何かなのか？
No, she's not my girlfriend. I'm just meddling because I want to. That's all we're doing. We're just meddling because we want to, just for fun. Princess is gonna be forcibly engaged to a man she doesn't know. Don't you feel bad for her? The classmate Tanaka shut his
み
mouth.
んなあのパーティーは気に入らないから乗り込んでぶっ潰すって言ってたのにね。
Tanaka, you.
うるさい！いいのか？お前を手伝うと俺たちにお姫様を助けに行くって大義名分を与えることになるんだぞ。
That sounds cooler than wrecking the party out of jealousy, right? Both laughed.
はい、もしもし、兄さん無事だったのね。今どこで何してるの？アリスさんは？
Don't get mad, but things have gotten a little crazy, and I think we're gonna need your help. Having contacted Saki, well then let's think of how to kidnap the princess tomorrow, I said, standing in front of the blackboard. How many days do we have till the party? Do we have that much time? That night, the doors closed behind me like always. Wait, what? For a moment, I didn't understand what was happening. We had confirmed Saki's participation for the phone. After finishing the preparations scheduled for tomorrow, I returned to my apartment. Then I collapsed on my bed, and now I was in this room. Wait a second, what does this mean? Don't tell me the place I was in before was reality. Quickly turned around and tried the doorknobs. They clattered, but as always, they wouldn't open.
現実が夢に侵食される。半ば冗談で言ってたのに、現実味を帯びてきちゃったわね。
Yeah, I think that's the case. I looked towards the cup to see Club Prez was in her towards the voice to see Club. Where did I get cup? Oh, cups on the. I do that sometimes. I read like the next word down. Was in her usual spot with a cup of tea in one hand, looking at me.
あれが現実とかそんなことあるわけがありません。
And also, as usual, Hirasaka was sitting a little ways away, holding her guitar. So the two of you are here. But could this be a dream I was wishing for?
そう。私は私だって自覚があるけど、どうトールにそれを証明すればいいのかしら。
That's true, but geez, if you say you're you, then I'll go with that. It's impossible to prove anyways. Her Prez looked the way she always did, but Hirasaka had a worried look on her face. So what did you do after that, Club Prez? Seeing that she hadn't gone with Saki after leaving the hospital.
私なりに状況を調べてたんだけど、そっちこそ結局あの後どうなったの？
We tried to bring Hirasaka out, but we failed. Without criticizing me, Hirasaka just held her guitar and looked down.
結局様子見に行くって言って強行手段に出たのね。
Yeah, as I expected him to. We thought it might work. If Hirasaka's father hadn't pulled out a gun, it probably would have. Was it because I was too naive, or just because it was just that cruel of a
あ
dream?
んま無茶しちゃダメよ。
I had no intention of doing anything reckless.
というか先輩もいいんですよ。
Hirasaka murmured.
だってあの人に撃たれそうになって傷ついて。
When Hirasaka said the part about me almost getting shot, Club Prez furrowed her brow. I'm not pushing myself. Maybe I am being a little reckless, though. Hirasaka shook her head, still looking down. She must have been really worried, or at least we were forcing her to worry.
一応トールの心配はできるのね。
一応ってどういう意味ですか？
言ったままの意味よ。いつもみたいに一人でふてくされて言いなりになってるんじゃないかって思ったのよ。
言いなりって。ええ、あなたみたいな好き勝手に生きてる人にはそう見えるでしょうね。
Fair point. I do feel like Club Prez just kind of does what she wants to do, honestly. I mean, not to say that she doesn't care about other people, but I definitely think she lives life for herself, right?
そうね。けど好き勝手に生きようともしてない子には言われたくないわ。
The atmosphere became tense as usual. Hey, you two. When I tried to stop him, Club Prez walked over to Hirasaka and raised her hand. She wasn't about to hit her, was she? Hirasaka must have thought so too because she braced herself, but instead Club Prez laid her hand gently on Hirasaka's head.
何するんですか？バカにしてるんですか？だから、トールの心配はできるのねって褒めてるんじゃない。
Interesting. I know some of you guys, I feel like kind of ship these two together. I'm just gonna assume that, okay? I could definitely get that vibe because they kind of clash, and so a lot of people like when people clash. They want them to just like kiss and make up, right? I kind of see these two almost as like sisters in a way. And maybe that opinion will change. I'm just saying from a few of the interactions I've seen, I feel like Yayoi really does like care about Keiko and is trying to help her, you know, learn lessons. And she kind of like teases her and maybe says harsh things because she wants her to like, I don't know how to say this without saying it that way. I guess grow up a little bit. Maybe she wants her to like toughen up, right? And I feel like she kind of has this like big sister vibe to her. I feel like she almost is more of a sister to her than she is to Asahi. And maybe I'll get to see that more as we go into her route, kind of her relationship with Asahi and how that kind of plays out day to day. But Club Prez, that's not how it looks like to me either.
ひどいわ。私はこんなに思いやりのある先輩なのに。
She pretended to cry, but it didn't look like she was lying.
喧嘩売ってるようにしか見えません。
Hirasaka brushed Club Prez's hand away. She must not have been expecting Club Prez to do that at all because she was
そ
surprised.
れで、さきちゃんは何してるの？さっき撃たれたとか言ってたけど、心配してるんじゃないの？
Saki was planning something evil at home. I'm kind of involved too. I didn't tell her that I got shot at. I don't know what she would do if I told her. I would have imagined that it would have been an impetus for her riot. Although, when I thought about what we were going to do, it almost felt like she might as well do that anyways. And since I didn't want the Christmas party to turn into World War III, I said nothing. More importantly, do you know where Alice is, Club Prez? I haven't been able to get in contact with her since we got separated. Because she had been locked up somewhere. It was Alice, so I wanted to believe she had managed somehow.
あの子なら、さっき私のとこに連絡してきたけど。
Yeah, what the hell? If she's safe, she should have called me and said so. I was worried. Taking to my chair in relief.
でも許してあげなさいって。なんか無茶なことしようとしてるみたいなんだし。
Don't do anything reckless, Alice. I'll get worried. I was relieved to hear she was alright. That's why I was able to talk like
だっ
this.
たら先輩もしないでくれますか。
Ah. Oh yeah, I was worrying Hirasaka too. Was I a hypocrite for saying it was okay for me to do it, but not other people? No, I've already prepared to the extent that I can't go back now. The party was tomorrow and there's no way I could drop out now. But Hirasaka's expression darkened.
ねえ、トール。本当に行くの？
I am. Everett smiled as if to say that it would be a pain. I don't mind if you don't help us. It's crazy and you might get shot. It really hurts. But you're not going to say that I'm not allowed to go, right?
そういうんじゃないんだけど。まあ、いっか。
Everett placed her empty cup on the windowsill with a clatter.
だけどトール、なんで助けに行くの？
Didn't we already discuss
そ
that?
こにケイコはいなかったじゃない。それがわからないから、ケイコもこんな顔してるのよ。
So she wanted me to say it again in front of Hirasaka. It's because I want to. Though I'd said this several times already, Hirasaka gave me a questioning
そ
look.
れは誰が相手でも同じですよね。
I wouldn't say anyone, but I would for any of the regulars who come here. Hirasaka then gave one of her usual uninterested sighs, and Club Prez
そう
giggled.
いうわけよ。残念だったわね。ケイコじゃなくても無茶するんですって。別に。むしろ先輩はいつも通りでほっとしました。
Why did you specifically ask
勘
that?
違いさせちゃ悪いからよ。トールのためにも、ケイコのためにもね。
What do you mean for my sake? The Club Prez didn't answer. Instead, Hirasaka heaved an annoyed
私は
sigh.
それに気づいてほしい時もあるんですけど。だけど、今気づかなくていいです。むしろ気づいた上で今みたいなこと言ってるなら最悪ですよね。
Wasn't a nice thing to say, but what had I done? What had I done that was so wrong? I pretended not to understand.
稽古はトールに助けてもらったらどんなお礼するかくらいは考えておいてもいいんじゃない？こっちは来ないでいいって言ってるんですよ。先輩のやってることっていわば善意の押し売りじゃないですか。
It's interesting that she feels that way, because in a way, maybe that's not too different from what her father's doing. Not really doing it to be thanked, you
ト
know?
ールはこういうところがダメなのよね。
She sounded thoroughly annoyed from the bottom of her heart. Did I really deserve that? I figured it would be worse if I said, be grateful.
そういうルートウィッチ先輩はもしも同じように助けられたらどうするつもりなんですか？そうね。トール相手ならまあ私にできることなら大抵のことは許しちゃうかしら。
Yeah, sure thing.
ねえ
Peppers gave me a suggestive sidelong glance. Oh, amazing. Now I'm feeling motivated.
なんで棒読みなのよ。
Because I'm not going to rescue you, so what's the point of a what if like that? I didn't want them to find out that I'd imagined something risque for such a
じゃ
scenario.
あ稽古にならどんなお礼が欲しいの？
For some reason, Hirasaka looked at me with eager looking eyes, but they also seemed to be saying I'm not hoping for anything. Couldn't it be for free? It became hard for me to joke about.
助けられっぱなしって気分悪いじゃない。ねえ稽古。まあはい。確かにそうですね。もしもですけど、お世話になったらお礼くらいします。
I don't know. I'm actually kind of with Toru on this one. Is it so wrong to do something, even if it's something big for somebody, just because they're your friend and you care about them? Do you necessarily need like a big thank you? Do you need them to just do some huge favor back? Can't you just do it because you're friends, you care about them, and you want them to be happy? And when they're happy, you're happy? What did the two of them, or rather, what did Club Prez want me to say? Then I'll think of something. I'll tell you when it's over. Does that work?
今のとこはそれでいいかしら。
I mean, that's not to say that if somebody wants to do something in return, if they want to show their thanks, that you shouldn't let them do that. Because I think a part of helping people is also allowing people to help you. Like, it should be something you can reciprocate, right? Like, if you think there's, I guess, like, let's just say, like, karma, or if you think that, what goes around comes around. I don't know what kind of philosophy you'd subscribe to. But I'm just kind of generalizing. Like, if you believe that, like, giving good energy will help you receive good energy, I think that allowing someone to help you after you've helped them is just a positive thing to do. If everybody did that, then, you know, everybody'd be happy, right? Ideally.
自分のことじゃないからって人を焚きつけて楽しそうですね。ええ、楽しいわ。自分のことじゃないから。
She really had a great personality. Peppers was actually a pretty caring person, so why was she sitting it out this time? I couldn't figure it out. I don't think she's necessarily sitting out. I think maybe she has her own thoughts and ideas on how this should go. On the day of the party, we arrived at the venue without issue. No one had stopped us as we made our way in. Right now, we were in a hallway near the front. Even after causing such a ruckus, we still got in without any problems.
それは私たちが頑張ったもの。
With my arm around her, Saki was pressed against me in a pink evening dress. Instead of wearing my usual rough attire, I was dressed to match. Oh, don't you guys look nice? But thinking about the events from this morning that led to this moment made me cringe. Saki, Asahi, what are you doing? What is this? Saki had let herself in without permission again. There's nothing I could do to stop her. Before me stood an unexpected pairing.
何の用って今日のスケジュール分かってる？
Of course. Wait, why are you sighing? Asahi, there's no need for that bittersweet smile, is there?
あのさトールくん、昨日もう平坂さんのお父さんと会ってるんだよね。その周りの人とも。
Yeah, I met them.
だったらもう顔はバレてるんだから多少は変装しようとか思わないの？
Well, you said you were going to prepare some clothes or something. Is that what you meant? There's no way a student living alone like me would have a suit suitable for a party. For some reason, Saki had some stuff like that, so she said she'd prepare something for me. So why'd you bring me so much luggage? Don't tell me I misunderstood. You guys are going to disguise me with special effects makeup or something. Along with what seemed to be a suit on a hanger, Saki had along with her a trunk that looked big enough to house a safe.
ありがとうございます、朝日先輩。ここまで無頓着だと思いませんでした。
トールくん、その辺哲也くんよりも気にしてないから気になって。
I'm concerned. Wondering what she meant by that when Saki snatched away my glasses. Ah, hey!
どうせ伊達なんだし、こんな状況なんだからいらないでしょ。
Yeah, but what are you planning to do? Saki had a gleeful smile on her face for some reason.
これから兄さんをかっこよくしてあげるわ。
Good luck. I didn't know why, but those words gave me a bad feeling. Didn't have to change my hair color, though.
笑えば落ちるんだから文句言わないの。
What started after that was a makeup session that lasted over an hour, although it wasn't special effects makeup. My glasses were taken away, my eyebrows were trimmed for the first time in my life, as a generous application of foundation soon followed. My hair color had been changed with a coloring spray, and my hair had been carefully arranged. When I looked in the mirror, I really did look like a different
そう
person.
いえば外で入る前に揉めてたみたいだけど大丈夫だったの？
Oh yeah, they were just displeased by the fact that I was going to the party with you. I'd gotten into a little argument with the Christmas club about it. Specifically, I'd almost been disciplined like Tetsuya yesterday. You bastard, it's not enough that you're going to rescue the princess, but you're going to the party with a cute girl like that, pretending to be your girlfriend, too? But why are the entry qualifications limited to couples? Thanks to that, the other members couldn't easily get
よかった
inside.
わね、兄さん。こうやって一緒に入ってくれる相手がいて。
Really glad. I can't get a hold of Alice or Club Prez, and I shudder to think what I'd do if you weren't.
この状況で他の女の名前を出すのね。
Oh my gosh. She discreetly dug her nails in my arm. Thanks to you, I can rescue Hirasaka. I'm very grateful.
ほんと。愛してるわ。
Like I said dramatically as some staff-like people passed by. I love you too, Saki. I said in response. Only happy couples have been invited, so they passed us without suspecting a thing.
その愛してるがどんな形でも嘘だったら許さないわよ。
It was all a lie. She said in a piercingly cold voice as she fawned and clung to my arm. I didn't know what to do. It wasn't a lie that I loved Saki. It was a familiar kind of love, but I definitely loved her. Yeah, I definitely think he loves her. Just not in a love way. If we weren't talking about any other kind of love, I wouldn't be as confident. I'm not lying. I lightly stroked Saki's head as she clung to my arm. Also, no household had received invitations on top of providing security. That was how Saki had gotten in. With her invitation, there was no need for her to come as a couple, but they didn't mind if she brought someone along. So we were just pretending that Saki brought me along as her guest. Huh? That means people here will think I'm your
あ
boyfriend.
ら、今さら気づいたの？
Ah. Went without saying that a portion of the security for this party was being handled by Hospital Security. If those people saw us. There hadn't been any commotions recently, but they sometimes liked to aid Saki when she had it out for me. Just a dream anyways. Everything will be reset when the party ends. This dumb commotion will be over by morning. Probably.
そうなるといいわね。
Once we had something we had to do, Saki wasn't seriously trying to corner me. Well, they should be getting here
相
soon.
変わらず話のそらし方が下手よね。
Let's go inside and wait. Pretending not to hear her, we walked into the venue together. I broke out into a cold sweat as I pondered over what we'd do if we were stopped and questioned. Seeming to realize what I was thinking, Saki squeezed my hand. Maybe I was being a little too paranoid. The invitation Saki had was the real thing, and as invited guests, we were politely received. Oh, wow. Interesting. Not anyone was paying us attention. We entered the venue undisturbed. On the stage of the front hall, and dressed for the occasion, Hirasaka stood with someone I didn't recognize.
いたわよ、兄さん。気づいてる？
I don't know. Looks a lot like a certain somebody we know. Yeah, it looks like she noticed us too. Having been watching the people as they came in, Hirasaka was now looking directly at us. She appeared a little startled, but then her expression changed to one that seemed to say, "So you really came." Maybe she didn't think we were going to
ど
come.
うかしら。単に私とこうしてる兄さんに呆れたのかも。
It was true that she often sighed when she saw Saki clinging to me. If she was actually similarly annoyed by the situation, I was glad that she wasn't too nervous. I looked around as we walked among the crowds. There was a good number of security personnel as well as couples chatting happily. Hirasaka's father was next to her. But Hirasaka is a princess in this dream, right?
そうね。水郷のお姫様ってことになってるけど。
Hmm. The only ones who thought that was strange were us who had been dreaming together. Originally, everyone else had accepted it like it was normal. Wouldn't that make her father the king? The whole situation didn't make sense to me. Hirasaka's father looked like he was in the same position he always was, and only his daughter had become a princess. The dream felt like it lacked consistency.
まさに夢だものってことかしら。
Yeah, I kind of felt that way the whole time. I'm like, this is a very weird dream. I looked at the person next to Hirasaka on the stage. That's supposed to be her prince. The two seem to be chatting with one another. I was surprised to see that the two seemed to be conversing more than I would have expected. Is that what's going on? Or I don't know, is that why everybody ships them together? I read a comment somewhere that like somebody like shipped these two together. So I was wondering if that's the case. I thought for sure she'd act more like she didn't want to be involved in this.
もしかして兄さん、嫉妬してるの？
No, more like I've never actually seen Hirasaka get along that well with a stranger other than me before.
そういえば私もかも。クラスでも他の人とまともに話してるの見たことないし。
Judging by that, it was easy to imagine that Hirasaka didn't really talk to anyone, let alone other guys. It felt strange seeing Hirasaka talking so nonchalantly to a stranger she just met. It's probably partly to protect her father's good name, but even so, she seemed rather
どう
relaxed.
するの？もしかしたら邪魔しない方がいいかもしれないわよ。
No, I won't change what we're gonna
ど
do.
うして？外にいるあの人たちと約束したから？
No, all they need to do is cause a commotion. We're relying on each other, but we have different goals. It was the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of relationship. Like a spectacle, she's going to be engaged and then forced to kiss somebody in front of all these people. That's not acceptable. The kiss was part of the engagement announcement
兄
ceremony.
さんって女心はわからないくせに変なところでロマンチストなのよね。
Yeah, he has his moments. What can I say? I'm a dreamer. I looked at the clock to see that it was almost time for the guys outside to start. There was a group that would pick fights at the entrance and another group that would use the route I found earlier to come inside and cause a commotion. The plan was for us to grab Hirasaka during the chaos and skedaddle. I think I've seen that person next to Hirasaka somewhere before.
私もなのよ。あの二人の並びがやけにしっくりくるというか。
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I've never seen them before. It's crazy. So wild. As we wonder about this engagement ceremony, from my point of view, the moment of truth arrived. We waited for a moment, but nothing happened. Maybe they've been found out and captured. Waited a little longer. Still nothing. The ceremony proceeded without interruption. We were running out of time. It wasn't going to happen as we planned, but that couldn't be helped. Wait right here. It was now or never. I stepped forward and raised my voice. I'd already let go of Saki's hand, though I wondered what sort of face she was making behind me. I didn't have time to turn around.
先輩。
I had stopped the ceremony, but what should I do now? I was sweating bullets. I hadn't thought this far ahead. But no one was interfering and I couldn't move from where I stood. What should I do? Spotting me, Hirasaka's partner, who had stayed silent up until now, stepped forward. Not at that face, it felt like I'd seen it somewhere before. Just as I thought that, the door at the entrance slammed open with a bang.
何事だ？警備は何をしていた？
He could yell as much as he wanted, but the group of disguised men crowded in from the open door. Anyways. Some were dressed as Santa and reindeer, and one guy was a ghost with a pumpkin for a head. I had a feeling he didn't quite understand what Christmas was. Fireworks and smoke bombs were thrown in the venue.
Merry Christmas! 幸せなカップルはいねえが!
They didn't have anything to do with Christmas either. Keeping that quick to myself, I took advantage of the distraction and ran onto the stage. Hirasaka, we're getting out of here. Now.
先輩、それがですね。
Hirasaka seemed hesitant.
こんなことをして。
The person next to her muttered in irritation. Huh? I'd heard this voice
どう
before.
いる？慌てなくても大丈夫だから少し待て。
Huh? His voice and the way he said my name, there's only one person I knew who said it like that. I like how it's so obvious who it is. Like, can you not tell from the giant boobs, the blonde hair, the blue eyes?
壇上に行ったぞ！捕めろ！
Several men in black closed in from behind me. Not good, this wasn't the time to think of anything else. Hirasaka, hurry, if you're gonna get in my
邪魔
way.
なんかしないわよ。 こんなことになるならそっちの予定もきちんと聞いとけばよかったわ。
Before her words fully hit me,
よっと。はいはい、そんじゃ二人とも逃げるわよ。
she tore off the clothes she was wearing as if it were a cloak and threw them at the men approaching from behind me. I like how she's just casually wearing this. Standing there was Club Prez in her dream outfit, complete with rabbit ears. It's you, Club Prez. What are you doing here?
話は後よ。ほら、二人とも逃げるわよ。
Okay, sure, why not? Club Prez grabbed Hirasaka's hand and took off running, and tackled one of the men in black coming in from the side and followed after them.
早くあいつらを追いかけろ。
I heard that man's voice from the other side of the room. I was worried about Saki, but I had faith that she would manage without me. The exit is this way.
知ってるわよ。調べといたもの。
I ran side by side with an annoyed-looking Club Prez. When we took advantage of the chaos to lead through a nearby exit, we saw that people in disguises were causing a ruckus out here, too. Hirasaka kicked off her high heels and kept pace next to me. Club Prez, grab on. I grabbed Club Prez's hand and ran. With Club Prez being the least athletic among us, this arrangement was inevitable.
あ、もうまったく。こんな騒ぎ起こすからエレベーターが使えないじゃない。
The stairs should be secured, though. Ah! The stairs I intended to use as an escape route had turned into a battlefield between hostile security forces and disguised men. I couldn't get through there with two people in
だぞ、
tow.
あそこだ。
とりあえずこっちに逃げましょう。
Three of us quickly took off, trying to put as much distance between ourselves and the venue as possible.
ハスノさんは大丈夫でしょうか。
Yeah, she'll be fine. Saki's a guest, and the guards are her families. I think she'll be fine alone.
サキちゃんのこと利用するだけしたって感じよね。トールってそんなに悪いタイプだったかしら。
I thought this was the plan. What do you mean evil? As long as we both agree to it, it's fine. But what about you, Club Prez? What were you doing there? Waiting for a set of stairs without many people around. I had burned most of the map into my mind, but I couldn't predict where people would be.
何って稽古の相手役になりすましてそのまま連れ出そうとしてたのよ。
Why? Wait, isn't that your dream outfit?
そうなのよね。あんまり人前でこんな格好したくなかったんだけど、夢をどうにかしようとするならこっちのが馴染むのよ。
How did you summon your dream outfit, though?
馴染むってどういう意味ですか？
Wait, you can alter the dream.
さっきやったみたいな変装程度ならできたわよ。
So that's why we didn't recognize her immediately upon entering the room. Ah, okay, so maybe there was a little bit of manipulation going on there, because I'm like, it's pretty obvious.
私にもあのくらいできるんだから、トールとアリスにだってできるんじゃないの？
Oh, I think maybe we have. When we came here yesterday, Alice and I had been able to reach Hirasaka far too easily. Might have been an alteration of the dream, too.
私の場合はいなかった席に勝手に座っただけだから大掛かりな改ざんはできないんでしょうけど。いなかったってどういう意味ですか？稽古の相手がどんな人なのかって誰も知らなかったでしょ？
Hirasaka nodded. Oh yeah, no matter how much we looked into it, we never found out. Saki and Asahi hadn't been able to find out either. We thought it was being kept a secret. I even went as far as to wonder if he even existed.
だから誰も知らないならなりすませるんじゃないかしらって思ったらできたのよ。
Okay, fair enough. That's insane.
あら、夢なんてそんなもんだったじゃない。まあ実際にはそんな相手いなかったみたいなんだけど。
There wasn't a partner. For some reason, that caught my attention. I thought that Club Prez has taken his
それにしても
place.
さっき急に相手だって言ってルートウィッチ先輩が来て驚きました。
From a distance, I couldn't tell. Seeing her chest balancing next to me, her thighs, her figure, and her facial features, it seemed strange that I wouldn't recognize her even from that
だ
distance.
から夢を改ざんしたのよ。その辺トールには今まで通用しなかったと思ったのにやればできるもんね。
Okay, that makes sense why he didn't recognize her, because it's pretty obvious. Okay, gotcha. Tilted her head, and I didn't know either. Do you not realize from close up,
最
Hirasaka?
初は分かりませんでした。なんとなく見覚えがある気はしたんですけど。まあ稽古には私の正体はすぐにバラしたしね。
Meaning, despite taking a different approach than us, Club President tried to rescue Hirasaka in the end, too. By the way, if I said that out loud, I got the feeling she'd grow a soul in her cold, so for now I stayed silent. But behind us, there still came the pleasant sounds of explosions and bottle rockets.
それでトール、あれは何？
Didn't exactly say it was a group I had inherited from her sister. It's the Christmas Club. Apparently they couldn't permit a happy event that only couples could
そ
attend.
んなだから相手がいないんですよ。
Hirasaka was really blunt when it came to such things. And that's why I appreciate her. No matter how much they hate couples, they said they wouldn't hurt anyone, so it was just a matter of believing them or not. It was a dream, so I figured they could handle a bit of excitement.
それ以上逃げるな。
We almost got caught by a man who suddenly jumped out from the side. I decided to see if I could alter the dream to our advantage. Normally I was unsure about Club Press's reflexes, but she slipped past the man's arm and pushed Hirasaka towards her. I pushed Hirasaka towards her. Apparently realizing my intent, Club Press grabbed Hirasaka's hand and pulled her past the man, leaving only me in front of him. It was obvious I'd be captured if I discharged him. I went around and reached into my pocket. This was a dream that I should have a... Well, time for a Christmas present. Pulled out a spear wrapped in paper about the size of a clenched fist. Just as Alice usually did, I pulled out a firework out of my pocket. In the other hand, I held a lighter as it was perfectly normal. I lit the fuse immediately. Noticing this, the man reached out to try to stop the fuse, but Club Prez gave a careless whistle. Here, don't drop it. I gently tossed the spear to him and he caught it. I grabbed the girl's hands and started running again. There came an explosion from behind that I could feel all the way to my stomach, followed by multiple flashes of colored lights.
あんなもの用意してたなんて。
Let's just say I got it from those guys earlier. It'll probably only lightly
こ
injure
っちで
him.
大きな音がしたぞ。
We heard from afar.
なんかあの音のせいでたくさん寄ってきたみたいだけど。
Downstairs was blocked by the shutters. I guess we can only go up. I searched for pockets for something that conveniently destroyed the shutters, but found nothing. All that I had were fireworks and smoke bombs. The President Hirasaka gave me an obvious look of disappointment. I lit them all and threw them behind us. Amidst the sound of explosions and screams, we ran up the stairs. I heard a voice I didn't want to from behind the smoke. Beyond the smoke. Yeah, beyond the smoke. Okay. Shit, the most troublesome one is still okay.
ああ、上に逃げても疲れるだけじゃないかしら。
Pulling Club Prez as she complained, we ran up the stairs. We ran to the upper level, of course. Fireworks and smoke bombs did nothing but buy us time when the men closed in from behind. Prez, don't you have anything convenient for a moment like this?
ほら、私って現実派だから。それに、この服のどこに何を隠せるっていうの？
It was true there wasn't much space for her to hide anything big, but
さっきまで変装していた人が現実派なんて聞いて呆れます。
I don't know. I think she has enough room to hide two big things in there. Hirasaka had a surprising amount of stamina, but Club Prez was already running out of breath. It was impressive that she had been able to get this far, and only she would have ran out of stamina a long time
これ
ago.
こそ、もっと花火ないの？ダイナマイト的なものとか。
Dynamite? Yeah, I just casually have dynamite in my pocket. That's not dangerous at all. You do realize nitroglycerin is very dangerous. I don't really want to pull out something that could kill a person.
普通に考えたら花火も十分危険なんじゃ。
That's that. This is fantasy, and I'm using fireworks that are safe for filmmaking.
そういうイメージなのね。
I think it was because I hesitated about things that were dangerous, I was unable to create
先
them.
輩、ところでポケットで何か鳴ってますけど。
Saki, or maybe those guys. Hello? Thinking maybe Saki had managed to escape, I answered without checking who it was, and I heard an unexpected voice.
なんかそっち騒ぎになってるみたいだけど、結局何したの？
I'm just blowing stuff up. What about you? Alice, well, the party was crazy and Club Rest turned out to be the prince. And wait, what are you doing?
何って今さきちゃん拾ったとこなんだけど、どの辺にいるの？
So Saki is safe. We're running up and up. We might end up on the roof. I could hear the wind roaring on the other side at the end of the phone, so I knew she was probably outside. Was she in a convertible or something?
じゃあ都合がいいからそっちに逃げて。大丈夫、迎えに行くから。そんじゃね。
What are you, in a plane? She sounded more easygoing than I thought she should have for the situation.
アリスから。
Or a helicopter is probably more likely. She said to run up the roof, she'll pick us up. What on earth did she prepare? What has she been doing since I lost track of her? After Club Prez's little son, I had a feeling that was going to be quite the spectacle.
もしかしてヘリとか用意してるんでしょうか。
I mean, that was my first thought. It's not Alice's style. She's more of a brute force kind of
私
person.
やと俺みたいにアリスも鍵出して扉で移動できるようになったのかもしれないわ。
I don't think that's the case. I see, so if so, I'm grateful, but what was that wind noise? As I wondered, I looked at the girls. The hem of Hirasaka's dress was starting to unravel and Club Prez looked worn out. I can carry one of you as far as the roof, I think.
稽古にしてあげなさい。動きづらそうだし、お姫様抱っこなんて羨ましい。 そこの足が震えてる無駄な重りのある人でいいんじゃないですか。
Wow, okay, nice to see you both in good spirits. I guess they'll hold out until the roof.
うわー、嘘、助けて。ちょっと手が当たってもいけですから。
Yayui, why are you so thirsty, okay? I was tempted, but Hirasaka, take Club Prez and go on ahead. I stopped, used the last of the smoke bombs and dazzlers, and took off after the others. Okay, what kind of surprise do we have here on the roof? It was dark outside. Looks like Alice still hasn't arrived. Club Prez shook off Hirasaka's hand and fell to her knees.
今更だけど、会場でトールを見捨てて逃げればよかったとか思い始めたわ。なんでそうしなかったのか驚きました。
She might not look like it, but she's too caring of a person.
こう見えててどういう意味よ。
I mean exactly what I said. My legs are trembling too. Even if I had to run further, it would be difficult with these two.
ここまでだ。おとなしくしろ。
Ooh. Trying to move away from Hirasaka's father, who had come up from behind, we backed ourselves against the railing.
まずいじゃない。アリスの扉ってもともとあるところの扉の行き先を変えるだけでしょ。
I don't think it's a door thing, but sure. Yeah, but there were no doors in sight other than the one we had come through. The men slowly closed in around us. They didn't seem to be in a hurry, probably because they knew we had nowhere to run. I had the girls stand behind me so I could protect them, and Club Prez walked up and stood beside me. Club Prez,
強がらないの。一人で何ができるわけでもないくせに。
I knew that, but I didn't think it would help for Club Prez to be there either.
こっちへ来い。
Said Hirasaka's father firmly as he stood in front of us among the men in black.
嫌です。
Hirasaka muttered behind me. Hirasaka pushed me aside and stood next to us.
いい加減にしてください。
いい加減にするのはお前だ。
Hirasaka's sudden determination was
し
unexpected.
っかり非常階段の方まで埋められてるわ。どうする？
I wonder. Club Prez was still trying to find a way out despite our current situation.
先輩たちと一緒に行きます。
行ってどうなる。いつまでも聞き分けのないことだ。
Seeming annoyed, he looked in our direction.
どうやら悪い友人がいるようだな。
He pulled a gun from his pocket. I turned to face him, realizing I still had a role to play. You're gonna threaten your daughter for a gun again to get her to do what you want. He raised his brows. And how hard-headed you were, how much you thought what you were doing was right, or how much Hirasaka hated it. I still held in the hope that you were a father thinking what was best for your daughter. I had Hirasaka behind me, but pulling out a gun? Isn't that a little savage for someone as big of a deal as you? I knew it was a low blow and a dangerous one. I could feel beads of sweat crawling down my
言っ
skin.
てわからない相手には有効だ。
I could say the same thing. I could do it. I just needed to believe. Saki was the one who prepared my clothes after all. It wouldn't be strange for her to have given me one. Reached into my jacket, and just as I thought, hardened steel met my fingers. Dang, we're gonna have a shootout? Let's go. I pulled my hand out and saw that I was holding a handgun. It was a semi like the ones you see in Hollywood movies. Must have imagined it that way. It was similar to the kind of guns that Saki sometimes pulled out in dreams, so maybe that was my mental image of a gun. Seeing that I was now holding a gun, the people around us grew tense. Don't move. The men stood in place. Since I also had a gun, they couldn't afford to be careless.
それ撃てるの？
I don't know. Never fired a real one. The president and I kept our voices low so no one else could hear us. Well, let's have a little talk. Neither of us wants something unfortunate to happen, right?
私を脅すつもりか。
You threatened us first. I haven't forgotten how you shot at me before. Tried to make it sound like I would do whatever I had to. I would do whatever I had to do. I'm guessing it's supposed to be whatever. Besides, I said I wanted to talk, didn't I? So I'll stay in exchange. Let these two go.
ちょっとトイレ、何言ってるのよ。そうです。先輩が残る必要なんてありません。
その通りだ。お前はこの中で一番価値がない。
I know, but this is the same threat you're making. If you want to agree, then let's pull the trigger. I'd actually no intention of firing, but I needed him to believe otherwise. He pulled the gun first. I had to make him think this was my deterrent.
ねえ、
Deterrent.
ミスター平坂。あなた、おかしいとは思わないのかしら。
With the person wearing the weirdest getup here.
姫の婚約、いない相手、めちゃくちゃになったパーティーになぜか銃を持ってるあなたと娘の男友達。 少し考えればおかしいと思わないかしら。そう。まるでコミックスか夢みたいだって。
Hirasaka's father listened quietly without changing his
なんで
expression.
私が稽古の相手役で誰もおかしいと思わないの？あなたの常識ってこんなものなのかしら。
それは
確かにあなたは自分勝手で我が強くて人の言うことは聞かなかった。この状況に踊らされているなんて。
うるさい。お前に何がわかる？
She doesn't understand, then you have to tell her so she does understand. My phone started ringing, but I couldn't afford to look away right now. Club Perez answered it. I couldn't release my hold on the gun, so I had her take it out of my
は
pocket.
いはい。あ、アリス？結局迎えっていつ来るのよ？え？上？
Just then, we heard the sound of jingling bells. It's an all too familiar jangling sound that ruined the current mood. Something was odd. What's that approaching us? I involuntarily glanced up, and there it was.
お待たせー。いやー、ここまで来るのに手間取っちゃった。
It was Alice with an exceedingly happy look on her face. She was riding in a large wooden sleigh being pulled by a set of reindeer with Saki in a large white sack in back. It was Santa Claus's sleigh. This unexpected turn of events stopped everyone in their tracks.
早く乗って乗って。この後大仕事が待ってるんだから。
This dream is so stupid.
本当にサンタのソリ？
What? The sleigh floated behind us. Club Prince jumped in as it slid at a walking pace, and Saki reached out and pulled Hirasaka up. Hirasaka reached out her hand as the sleigh sped up. I threw my gun in the back of the sleigh and ran to catch up with it. There was a sharp, dry bang. It wasn't my gun. The shot rang out as soon as I touched the edge of the sleigh. As I fell back, I saw Hirasaka's father with a startled look on his face. Hey, you're the one who fired it. Why are you so surprised? I fell against the ground in time to see Hirasaka jump down beside me from the sleigh. She was holding a gun I'd thrown in. Wait, Hirasaka, I can imagine. Saki, you calm down too. She pointed the gun at her father. No, Hirasaka, don't shoot him. No matter what happens, he's your father. He probably didn't mean to shoot me either. What is going on? Hirasaka hesitated for a moment in response when she dropped the gun on the ground. The cloud of the gun skidded out of our reach. Despite her words, Alice maneuvered the sleigh in skillfully. I grabbed Hirasaka's hand to keep myself from collapsing. She squeezed my hand. Clepress took a hold of Hirasaka's other hand and pulled her up. Hirasaka's father was apparently in shock and didn't move. The men in black ran up to us and tried to catch us. Saki said in a frigid tone of voice. In her hand was a dangerous-looking cylindrical object. I couldn't tell where she got it from, but all I heard was we all heard her as she pulled out the pin. What is going on? We're riding on freaking Santa Claus's sleigh. She has a grenade, and apparently we're just the shots are just going off. It's a grenade like the ones you saw in the video games. Wait, Saki, seeming to notice that she was holding the men in black, stopped as she threw it in between them and us. There was an intense flash of light and a sudden loud pop of an explosion as we were pulled into the sleigh. What? I finally made it in. I don't know, am I supposed to laugh at this, or is this supposed to be a very serious moment? Like, I want to laugh, because it's just funny that Alice pulled hard on the reins of the reindeer. With us in it, the sleigh quickly rose in the sky. Behind us, a scorch mark had divided the roof into two sections. Hirasaka's father watched us the whole time, his limp arm still holding onto his gun. This is so ridiculous. Oh, I thought I was gonna die. I leaned on the rim of the sleigh and rubbed my back near where the bullet had hit. Oh hey, we dyed our hair gray. I was curious what color it was. We went from white to gray. I had a bulletproof vest in my jacket, so... What? I knew we had a gun, so I had Saki prepare for it. I didn't think it'd actually come in handy, though. They probably let off the hook because Saki knew I was wearing it.
先輩はどうしてあんな無茶をしたんですか？
Tension having left her, Hirasaka looked at me with a face she didn't usually make. It was like she's about to cry. I think the best part about this, though, is if I really, like, settle down and think about it, this is about how chaotic dreams feel. Like, this pretty much encapsulates some of the dreams I've had. I mean, not exactly the same scenario or anything by any means, but it kind of just jumps from scene to scene. There's a little bit of cohesion to it, but at the same time, like, just crazy things are happening that you're just like, what the heck is going on if you really think about it. I guess it pretty much matches. Attention having left her, Hirasaka looked at me with a face she didn't usually make. It was like she's about to cry. To be honest, it's actually part of the course for me in a dream. I said lightheartedly as I tried to dodge the question, but she wasn't letting me get off that easily. Behind the annoyed club prez, Alice gave us a serious look.
あんま騒がないでね。さっきのさきちゃんが投げた爆弾とかもあって、今この子たちピリピリしてるから。
There's only 2 of them. Where's Rudolph? Alice warned, pointing at the reindeer from the driver's seat. What would happen if the reindeer got spooked? I shivered at the thought as Hirasaka and Club Prez closed their mouths too. I was trying not to. Because I'd been in danger, Saki glared at me. At any rate, we're safe now, so save the lecture for later, please. Yeah, you're actually letting me off.
先輩には言いたいことがたくさんありますから、簡単には終わりませんけど。
If we're talking about things we want to say, then I have a ton to say to Club Prez.
まあ、これから一晩時間はたっぷりあるし、その間に話せばいいんじゃないかな。
一晩ってアリスさん、まさか兄さんとこの二人を一緒にどこかで過ごさせる気じゃないでしょうね。
うん。だけど、私とさきちゃんも一緒よ。当然弥生も。
Oh yeah, back there you said something about work. What did you mean? Now that we were calm, you started to notice that people were looking up at us from the town. On top of that, Alice kept the sleigh traveling slowly. We could barely see the Tsukio building anymore. Of course! Yeah, we're just gonna be Santa Claus. We're just gonna deliver presents. Alice declared with a glimmer in her eyes. She was like a kid again. Santa Claus is like, here, yeah, if you go do my job, you could have my sleigh, of course. Yeah, I just so happened to find Santa Claus. You know, he's just gonna go knock back a couple beers with Mrs. Claus, you know, take the night off. I love your logic, Alice. Of course. Yep, that works. True, I don't think anyone would want to do something to it. It probably had extra territorial rights or something, and you weren't allowed to damage it. That was the kind of item she'd obtained. It's great. And one night we've gone from kidnappers to Santa substitutes. It's as crazy as you'd expect a dream to be. That is certainly true. I kind of had to like readjust my thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, this all is crazy. This all is out there because it is a dream. We could hear familiar Christmas songs coming from below us. At the same time, a lot of red and green balloons came floating up around us. We could tell people were looking up at us from the venue, curious about Santa's sleigh. Oh, but Santa's not riding it. The image on the monitor was such low resolution you couldn't make out who was actually riding the sleigh. Oh, because of what she's wearing. She is pretty sexy. Saki quietly pinched my arm, making me cry out despite Alice having told us not to be loud. Wonder how old Santa is anyways. Was it really okay we were taking his place, just as I was thinking that? White flakes fell from the sky and mingled with the balloons as they drifted past us. Alice squirmed happily in the driver's seat. At the same time, the reindeer happily jingled the bells around their necks.
まあ綺麗なのは認めます。
Ironically, Hirasaka seemed to be enjoying herself.
私たちこれからどうなるんでしょうか。
I have no idea. I don't even know what's going on. We're just in a sleigh, and apparently we're Santa Claus. Hirasaka
戻
murmured.
ったらまだ先輩たちは追われていて、私は連れ戻されるんでしょうか。
I don't think so.
どうしてそう思うの？はいはい。トールとは違うかもしれないけど、私もないと思うの。だって今日はクリスマスイブじゃない？それどういう理屈ですか？クリスマスイブはクリスマスイブで、パーティーもクリスマスパーティーだもの。終わっちゃえば終わりだと思うの。
This was a dream about Christmas Eve. Once that was over, all that was left was to return to a normal life. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm basically of the same opinion.
それは今までいろんな夢を見てきた経験？
Pretty much, it's like an intuition. The bells jingled along as the sleigh slid over the town through the snow and
だから
balloons.
これから私たちのクリスマスをやろう。きっと楽しくてまたいろいろあるわよ。
Alice held her arms out wide.
今日だっていろいろあったけど楽しかったもの。
Alice said with shining eyes. Cleopatra smiled resignedly. Hirasaka smiled with a tired look on her face, and Saki smiled with a sigh. It is a celebration. Alice nodded happily. I found myself petting Hirasaka's head as she sat next to me. It'll work out somehow. Is honestly how I felt. Not that I had any basis for any such feeling. This was a beautiful snowy Christmas Eve, and for tonight, we get to be Santa Claus. When the magic of this dream dissolves, the party will end. But I felt it would be fine. I guess. What a weird dream. Hapymaher interlude. Interlude to what? We spent all night delivering presents to children around the world. It's quite the big adventure, full of laughter and tears. Only not really. I'm like, is this... So I guess technically we're out of chapter 6. Is after this going to be character routes? I have no idea. In the dark night sky above the clouds and under moonlight, we had raced from town to town according to the list Alice had borrowed from Santa. Whenever we reached a house, Alice and Club Prez would conjure a key to sneak in or some other means to gain access to the home. They would then leave the presents taken from that familiar white bag, after which we'd take to the skies again. It was somehow warm in the sleigh, but there was nothing to eat, and since we were above the clouds, the scenery didn't change much. On top of that, we kept pace with the night the whole time, so we couldn't see anything anyways. The whole experience quickly numbed our minds. Now we are standing in the middle of a snowy field that would be best described as our finish line. In a sense. It's cold.
わざわざ言わなくてもいいわ。
Empress looked especially cold, clad in what little fabric there was made up of her dream outfit. She held herself and shivered. We'd arrived in Greenland, Santa Claus's headquarters, after flying around all night. The journey was as predictable as I figured it would be until we left Tsukio and returned here. It was a good thing that we had escaped in the manner that they would never be able to catch us.
サンタ消えちゃったね。ええ、消えましたね。
We had finished distributing the presents and came to return the sleigh to Santa Claus. The white-bearded old man gave us a Merry Christmas with a smile, got on the sleigh, and left us in the cold, leading to our present predicament. Where are we?
グリーンランド。そのグリーンランドのどこかって聞いてるのよ。どこだろうね。
Greenland, an island of ice where the majority was above the Arctic Circle. And we had been left in the middle of the snowy nothingness without any indication of where we were.
ねえ兄さん、これからどうする？
We'll just have to figure something out, huh? Hey, Hirasaka! Hirasaka! She's dying. Behind Saki, Hirasaka clasped in the snow. Alice heard they caught her, but Hirasaka's face was white and she didn't move. Come to think of it, she'd been pretty quiet for the sleigh, so her condition had been bad from the beginning. We have to do something quick.
だけどこんなところでどうにかって。
I'll say it one more time. We were in the middle of a barren white emptiness as far as I could see. The weather was actually kind of strange. We could see the moon even though it was snowing. And it was cold, painfully so. I wasn't doing too well in long sleeves and pants, but the girls in their skirts, or Club Prez's lack of even that, Wasn't that bordering on life-threatening? In fact, one of them had already reached the limits and collapsed. What do we do? I know this is a dream, I know that, but what kind of alteration would make it so we could get home? I got the feeling anything on the 2 grand scale wouldn't work too well. A door? Where are we gonna make a door? Like in the ice? Gosh, what a mess. Like, what is even going on? This dream, man. Crazy. After a frantic rush of packing snow into something that resembled a door, Alice shoved the key into the tiny crevice that was supposed to be the lock-in. Made it back to my apartment. It was like the door that led to Alice in Wonderland's alternate world. Well then. Saki and others warmed Hirasaka at the shower and tucked her into bed. When her face regained its color, I spoke up. Now what? I just watched some TV, and while everyone else warmed themselves in my apartment, I went and checked out the town. It was Christmas Eve, but I didn't see any of the crazy commotion from yesterday. I went to the Tsukio building, but it was business as usual. It was as lively as you'd expect for Christmas. Tried to make it look obvious I was preparing to make my escape, but there's no sign of anyone trying to capture me. The ruckus from last night seems to be completely gone. I like the contrast in outfits here. We have Alice, very casual, you know, normal stuff. Yayoi. And then we have Saki, who's in this nice pink dress. Not something we usually get to see her in. It's very girly. I don't think it really suits her that well. It was necessary, wasn't it? She gonna say Hirasaka's still lying in bed. Obviously I couldn't go that far. I'd only been able to check out the town, the place that served as last night's stage. Hirasaka slowly sat up. Apparently she had been listening. She was right. Actually, we were probably lucky that Hirasaka was the only one to collapse. I told you to before to come here instead of wandering around like that. I like that Saki had gone to Hirasaka's side. Yeah, I wonder why. I don't know, are things back to normal? I mean, maybe in the dream they are. But I mean, we're still in a dream. Saki took out her cell phone. Saki had gone to the corner of the room to talk. We put our heads together so we wouldn't bother her. Well, I think the Hospital state would be fine. Actually, if it isn't, then even Saki will have nowhere to go, so I hope it's fine. Well, you know, gotta have a good ending in a game, right? Why do you always assume he's gonna try something? He doesn't do anything. Could you two show some consideration for my anxieties? He actually was alone with her before, and didn't do anything. If Saki is able to go home, then we'll hear Saki be able to go after her. Don't tell me it's hard for even you to go home, Club Prez. Probably talking about Alice. Where is Alice supposed to go? She pointed to Alice. Yeah, it's like, where do you live? Hey. What? Saki said after glancing at us briefly.
本当のことだけどその説
I
明
know,
はな
that
い
was
んじゃ
kind of
ないか
mean.
な
She's a suspicious person. I don't know her identity. I mean, it's true, but Lucky merely glanced at Alice before continuing her conversation with Takahara-san.
わかりました。それじゃあ待ってます。
She snapped her phone shut. What'd she say?
今まで通りでした。あと、平坂さんの具合が悪いなら、車で迎えに来てくれるそうです。
私は
まさか兄さんの部屋に置いていくわけにもいきませんし、大丈夫ですよ。変なことさえしなければ。
Lucky smiled gently. Alice could only smile back uncomfortably. Well, if they can stay at the house to no estate, then I guess that's one thing
そ
settled.
うね。昨日のこともとりあえずは片付きそうだし、昨日何かあったってニュースも見当たらないわ。
The press was fiddling with her smartphone, apparently checking the internet for news.
本当にあれは昨日までの夢だったんですかね。
I don't know, because we're still in the dream. I mean, the dream could have rewrote itself after that, but I don't know.
だけど続けてたらまだ夢が終わってなかったかも。
Well, it's true that we don't know for sure. It's just a feeling that Alice and I had. It's because we were used to dreams. We knew that there weren't always logical beginnings or
それで
endings.
兄さん、クリスマスですけど、うちにご飯食べに来ますか？
I might start another commotion, so I was just planning on relaxing here, ordering a pizza or something and going to bed. It's possible that some weird dream would start if I went to the hospital house so soon after yesterday. It was true that I was tired and wanted to just rest, so that was part of it.
なんだかんだでみんな徹夜で寝てないもんね。
You don't look that tired,
そう
Alice.
だね。なんでだろう。
Still having settled the commotion from last night, we heaved a collective sigh of relief. Alice isn't that tired, huh? Like I said, I still think she's in a coma. She's pretty much sleeping all the time, so of course she's not tired. Then we heard a familiar engine from outside the building.
高原さん、あんなに急いで。
Even so, wasn't that a little too fast?
夢だしね。
Hirasaka nodded sleepily, probably because she was on the futon. Looks like it might be good to just let Hirasaka sleep here.
大丈夫です。先輩のベッドはいつまでも借りていられませんから。
I was relieved that Hirasaka seemed to be much closer to normal than she had been a short while ago. I decided to quietly wait for Takahara-san to come to the apartment. Interesting.
それじゃあ兄さん、また近いうちに。
Alright, I'll see ya. We don't have to see each other every day, do we? Saki looked like she wanted to say something in response, but she and the others left the room. The apartment door closed.
ずいぶん広くなったわね。
Kleprez looked snug in the kotatsu. Just a minute ago, Saki and I had been sitting on the sofa. Hirasaka's on the bed, and Kleprez and Alice were in the kotatsu, but now it was just the two of us. Just the two of us. Aren't you going home? I looked back at the sofa and saw that Kleprez was lying in the bed where Hirasaka had been.
今日は帰りたくないの。
Kleprez was sprawled in the bed and looked at me with a wistful look on her face. Her blonde hair made an alluring contrast with other colors in the bed. My heart began to race, but I couldn't let that show. That's just because you're tired and don't want to move, right? She didn't have much stamina to begin with, and not only had we been flying around all night, but we had hardly gotten any sleep. We'd taken turns napping, but it was hard to relax on a flying sleigh.
そうね。ほとんど正解よ。
Mostly.
なんでもないわ。
Kleprez sighed. She looked exhausted, like she might fall asleep at any moment. You can use the bed if you want to take a nap. It would worry me to see Kleprez sent home like this, and it didn't look like it would be easy to take her home
そう
either.
ね。けどシャワーも浴びたいかも。
Thought you already did. They had used the shower to warm up Hirasaka anyway, so I thought they had taken a shower before I came back.
女の子が入るっていうのにドキドキとかないの？
Because he's never excited. Osaka and Hirasaka just used it, didn't they? I did feel a little excited, but it would have been a pain to actually show it. At least for today, I was used to it. Though, I had been out when they did. Kleprez stared at me.
一緒に入る？
But what sort of nonsense is
別に
that?
私は構わないわよ。
Give teasing me a rest, would you? Kleprez sighed.
今日は疲れてるし、この辺にしておいてあげるわ。
If you're tired, then don't waste energy from the start.
そういう見逃し方じゃないんだけど。まあいいわ。
She stirred on top of the bed as if she were a cat searching for a good spot. Aren't you gonna take a shower?
もうちょっと
She grabbed my pillow and rubbed her cheek against it. What are you doing? I didn't mind if she wanted to take a nap, but right now she looked like she was trying to... She didn't really look like she was trying to fall
な
asleep.
んか女の子の匂いがするわ
Which one? It's because Hirasaka was just resting there. That or it was Saki. She was often with me and stayed the night sometimes.
私がこうしてトールの枕抱えて寝てるなんてしたらさきちゃんどんな顔するかしら
I don't know, I'm kind of worried. She said it smelled like a girl, and I would assume she would know what the other girls smelled like. Is it Maya? Is that who she's smelling? Toko making more trouble for me. Cuppress continued to lay on the bed and gave no sign that she cared at all about my complaints. After that, she didn't move for a while. So aren't you gonna take a shower?
もしかして早く浴びてほしいのかしら期待してる
No. To be honest, I wouldn't know where to look if she fell asleep in that position.
よっしこのまま寝ようかと思ったけどやっぱりシャワー浴びたい
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to censor some stuff. I responded offhandedly at my own tiredness. Cuppress looked a little
何度
offended.
も言うけど男の子の部屋でシャワー浴びるって言ってるのにそんな反応されるとは思わなかったわ
Contrary to how I look, I am desperately battling dirty thoughts. To be specific, since about the time she offered to take a shower with me, I've been desperately trying to control my imagination, which was running wild. If I'd said yes, then maybe she would have done it. Was that really okay? Nah, it wasn't. Not good. Imagining that was gonna clue her into the fact that I was panicking. And that was just what she wanted. Perez walked up to me and stared at me right in the face. Well, what? Did she realize? Just as I thought that she ran her hand along my jawline, she furrowed her brow disapprovingly.
何が足りないのかしらやっぱりさきちゃんがいるから女の子のシャワー程度じゃなんともないのかしらね
No, that's not... She's leaning over me now, and since I was sitting, I could clearly see down her shirt and at her cleavage. Not good. Not only that, but it reminded me of the time in the dream room, making it almost impossible for me to hide it now. Yeah, you guys did have a pretty lewd dream.
なるほどわかったわ
Get what? After staring at me for a bit, Clepres looked up. She understood.
せっかくクリスマスなんだしミニスカサンタでないとダメってことね
What are you talking about?
嫌いだった
No, it's not that. Actually, that would have been pretty nice. Make up your mind, Toru. What do you want? Just say it. Clepres knelt on the sofa like Saki and Maya often did. With the chair behind her, she closed in on me so I couldn't
仕
escape.
方ないトールがそれでいいって言うなら用意してもいいかしら
Why would you do
サン
that?
タさんからのクリスマスプレゼント
Santa-san can't be the present.
うまいことを言うわね
No, it wasn't.
いらない
It was my fault for not being able to quickly come up with a retort, but I missed my timing. After that, I had trouble figuring out what to say. Do you think you can keep saying those things and stay safe
無
forever?
事ね無事じゃなくなるとしたらどうなるのかしら
Oh no, oh no, oh no, abort, abort! I could smell a faint, sweet aroma. It wasn't just Cuppres's perfume, it was also sweet honey-like smell coming from her chest. To smell the seeds of the nightmare flowers. After sensing my desire, I was trying to grant her wish, trying to make the flower bloom. It was bad. Couldn't tell if Cupres noticed or not. She stared at me and I couldn't
どうし
move.
たのトールエッチな気分にでもなった
What if I said yes? I almost nodded when... The door opened loudly. I jumped and quickly turned the door like a cat who had just been caught nicking food. She was looking at us with a stiff smile on her face.
さきちゃん
The sweet smell vanished as a cold air blew in from the door.
何してるの
Sex? If I gave the wrong reply, this would be the end. If this was a video game, I was about to lose one of my lives. This wasn't a game, and even if it were, it was a one-life system, so if I lost the game, it was over. Saki Clippers has no stamina,
え
right?
えそうね
So before she went home, we thought she should have a
ど
rest
うして
first.
一休みするはずが兄さんにのしかかってるんですか
I don't know. She was collapsing. That's what it was. Saki scolded
こ
us.
れには深い事情があったのよ真面目ぶってもダメですから兄さんも何デレデレしてるんですか
Don't worry about it. Saki moved Clippers off of me and made her sit next to me. She then folded her arms and looked down at me.
とそれでさきちゃんの家はどうだったの大丈夫でしたいつも通りでした何の問題もありませんでした
He's
そ
upset.
れで平坂さんもアリスさんもしばらくうちに泊まっていくことになりましたしね。
Took down at us one more
だか
time.
ら一人くらい増えても大丈夫ですよ。
She then took Club Prez's hand and smiled kindly.
何それ、どういう意味かしら。
いつかそうなるのは仕方ないとして、私が気づくところでそういうことになるのは我慢ならないわ。
その気持ちはよくわかるわ。
Didn't want to understand what she was trying to say, but I did
と
anyway.
いうわけで、私のお家でクリスマスなんていかがでしょうか、先輩。
Saki smiled sweetly, and so did Club Prez.
急にお邪魔していいのかしら。
ええ、兄さんの部屋と違って我が家は急なお客様にも慣れてますから。
I'm used to sudden guests too, they happen all the time. Another exchange of smiles, my stomach hurt like hell. I think I'm pretty used to sudden guests too, though. I remember it was completely
それじゃあ
ignored.
ハル、さきちゃんが怖いわけじゃなくて、せっかくご招待されたんだし行ってくるわね。
Okay.
残念だった。
兄さん、
Even though Club Prez was the one who said it, I was the one Saki glared at. After that, she closed her eyes for a moment as though trying to endure something.
兄さんもやっぱりうちに来ますか。
Yeah, it's Christmas. We should go over, you know? No, I'm tired, so if Club Prez is leaving, I'm going to bed. It was true that I was tired and I'd stayed up all night, so I wanted to get some sleep. But before that, Club Prez shouldn't you change? Club Prez had been in her dream outfit ever since we met her at yesterday's party, so she couldn't go out
だ
like
けど
this.
着替えなんてあれ。
By the time Saki and I turned around, Club Prez was already in her usual clothes and fixing her hair with one
何
hand.
か夢だもの。慣れた服装にだったら好きにできるわ。
じゃあなんで今まであんな格好でいたんですか。
ドールが喜ぶから、それが可愛くてつい。
Of course. Lucky, Club Prez was just saying that of her own accord, so stop glaring at me.
それじゃあ行きましょうか。休むならうちでもいいですし、車回してありますから。
Why did you come here in the
嫌
first
な
place?
予感がしたのと、兄さんをご飯に連れ出そうと思って。
女の勘ってバカにできないわよね。
弥生
Apparently
先輩
not.
だって女でしょ。
Oh yeah, most definitely.
私はそういう不確定なものを頼らないもの。
She had nothing to take, so she left the apartment with
それ
Saki.
じゃあ兄さん、ごゆっくり。
またね、ドール。
The door closed quietly. After seeing them off, I sighed, tottered over to my bed, and collapsed onto it. I wanted to take a shower, but I was so exhausted that I wanted to sleep more than anything. Then I noticed it. My bed did smell pretty good. Hirasaka had been lying on it, and so had Club Prez. Partly because I was tired, the smell of my bed made my manhood rock hard. Why did you make me read that, game? I don't want to read that. How can I sleep like this if I could no longer remove myself from the sweet-smelling bed? So I slowly fell asleep in agony. Why would they make me read that? I don't want to say that. It's weird. Chapter 7, Last Resort. Perfect. That's a great place to end off, because I made this an extra long episode. It was December 31st, in other words, New Year's Eve. And we're still in the stupid dream. What the heck? What's going on here? I guess we're just in the dream from now on. Anyways, we're gonna end it here. We ended up saving Hirasaka from Yayoi, I guess, and her dad. What a weird dream. I'll just say that. It was a trip, for sure. Anyways, guys, that'll be it for this episode. We're in Chapter 7. I think this is where character routes start, so I think we're in Yayoi's. I'm not too sure. We'll just have to see. We might have to go through another chapter. I'm not too sure, but hopefully we're getting close. Anyways, I'll see you next time.